flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we go to 2, I want to jump down to amendments. Is there any amendments to the agenda needed? I think the town manager had a couple. Yes,
I'll
sir.
make a motion to add under new business, B, approve Liz Ambiel, the new town bookkeeper for authority, for the town bank account. And under wanna do that one first?
You can do them together, I think.
Okay, and add under executive session, real estate transaction, 1 VSA 313A2.
Okay, anything else? Is there a second to Glenn's? Second by Bob. All in favor of approving the agenda with the amendments?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving back to number 2. Are there any renters in the meeting that want to talk about water bills? Anybody? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, my half is paid, my tenant's half is not paid. I'm a single mom taking care of my dad and my handicapped sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's up to date, and how it's set up is I can't shut off my and that's another story, but these problems from the beginning. I can afford to have the water shut off on my half. How would I work that? Like I said, mine's up to date, his is not. I've been trying to pay on both of them, but
Yeah.
I want to eventually evict him if I can ever get the money to do it.
I think, Joe, ultimately, like, it's the landowner's responsibility to pay.
Yes.
Like I said, I've been paying, I am the landlord, I've been paying on,
Yep, no, I know. I
mine's
understand.
really half, I've been trying to pay on his, but as sad,
Yep. Is it an amount that you can work on a payment plan with, or have you talked with her about different options or not?
We did talk about a payment plan last year. We did have a payment plan in place, but that payment plan was broken. The payments were never, they were being made and then they broke.
My entire family had COVID in November, and I've gotten so far behind on everything. I mean, I didn't work the whole month of November and half of December, so.
Yep, okay. Questions from the board?
What is the balance?
The first, let me see. One unit, 10 Adams owes $189. That's current due. And the other unit, 12 Adams owes $4,039.68.
My feeling is that she's been keeping her bill current for her side of the house. I understand it's your brother that's on the other side.
Yes.
I would suggest that we try another payment plan one more time with her and her brother.
I don't know if my brother would do it. I'm currently, I'm trying to evict him, so I don't know if you'll help me or not.
Well, if he doesn't want to do it, we'll have to shut the water off. That's my feeling. But I just feel, I mean, you're trying to keep yours current. You're keeping yours current. And you're trying to pay the other one off. This is just my suggestion that we try the payment plan between her and her brother. And if her brother doesn't want to do it, then shut the water off. That's my feeling.
Joe, is there 2 separate meters?
No, the difficult problem with this particular property, and we have 1 or 2 in town like this, is that there's one shut off for 2 units.
Gotcha.
But is there,
The only way to recoup this money would be to sell this property at tax sale. That's the only real option I have.
so there's not two meters?
There's just one shut off. Oh, maybe 2. I'm sorry. I'm
One shut off, but 2
2
meters.
There's got to be 2 meters.
Yeah, because they have bills. Yeah. But we can't turn one off independently of the other.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's handy.
Yeah.
just the question, I'm going back to a year ago when we had a water issue at the Greenbelt and Mobile Manor, and there was some COVID funds to pay that helped, the state had to help pay for the delinquent lot. Is that available this time?
I didn't know that existed.
There is some money out there, but, that would be something for Fairhaven Concern to handle. We did help in the previous round, the last couple rounds, scooping up money.
Yeah.
But we're not the agency to hand out that money.
No, I was just trying to see if we were, our decision-making, whether we were consistent on how we decided when to involve folks, and I just want to be fair to everyone. There is the first comment. And the other one was more of a question of what does our policy say, and we're following that. I have it in front of me, but I'm sure.
So it's not just our policy that we need to worry about at this point, it's state policy. We're not, or state VSA, we're not allowed to turn off water if that one line feeds 2 units, we can't kill both units if one person is paid and the other one is not. We can't do that. That's why the only real option is to sell the property.
When they had the agreement the last time, had they made payments before it was stopped or before it was broken?
Yes, they did pay, looks like they paid maybe 7 payments.
So that, I mean, to me, that's, if they had a situation from COVID, you know, and they were making the payments regular before that, I just feel that we should just give them one more shot. Try it. I mean, we've got people here that owe a lot more money than that, so.
Well, $4,000's quite a bit.
Yes, it is, so,
And I mean,
you know,
this woman is trying to pay it, but you're not getting any cooperation, so. So there's two separate meters. So you can delineate who's paying and who isn't, at least we can do that. Not that it's gonna help if it's got one shut off. So, I'm kinda with Jay,
Is there
make
COVID
a
money,
very, sorry,
if set them, to get them on the right track, they could apply for this COVID money possibly and get them,
Fairhaven Concern could help them do that.
Fairhaven Concern would help.
The tennis fair have a concern open, because I work 4 AM to 2:30 PM, and about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Because I work over an hour away.
I don't know what time they open. You can call the director, she can help you out.
Do you have the number, or?
I mean, I'm fine with a payment plan. I think that's,
I mean, I would make it fairly strict and fairly,
Aggressive.
you know, so we're not in the same situation in another 6 months or 3 months or something like that, or, but,
I mean, ultimately 803 does say responsibility, and you know, it's the landowner that is the ultimate.
can the landowner shut the water off?
I think there are rules against turning water off to tenants. I'm not a pro on that, but yeah, I think there might be something against that too.
And there's no way to separate the water meters.
So the water meters are separated, we have to be able to install another service line to the house, which is or is not our responsibility, depending on how you want to read it. It's something that,
So you can't put another shut off closer to the meter, like on the town side of the
anything
meter.
beyond the, so right now would be one curb stop with one service line going into the facility, and then it breaks from there. Anything past the curb stop is a homeowner's responsibility, so we would take the responsibility on ourselves then to provide another,
Yeah.
their end of the service line, so.
All right, other questions?
So when did we get the last payment?
It was back in December. Late November, early December.
And if we were to do a payment plan and you get in touch with Fairhaven Concerns and see if there's any COVID money that might help there, is the intent that
I want to pay it off, see,
you would be making payments?
when his wife was there, I wasn't getting all my mail. Now magically she's gone, I'm getting all my mail. I didn't realize they were behind, other than the assumption they were paying. And then I didn't get anything until just recently, that they weren't. I knew they weren't paying rent because I'm still paying the water and helping with the taxes.
So I think consensus is for the town manager to work out, if possible, a payment plan to get them back current. Right?
And to go to Fairhaven Concern to see if she can get some COVID money.
Yep. Okay.
But
Yep.
it shouldn't drag on.
There should be a time limit on that.
Sure.
Well, I was just gonna say, by the next water bill, if nothing from Fairhaven Concern, no payment's been made, we'll need to move forward.
I understand that.
Okay.
I apologize, like I said, I didn't know he wasn't paying.
No
Okay. Joe, you'll work on that?
I will. Typically, we set up the payment, so the current bill is being paid, and then the overdue bills are paid concurrently, so that way it's paid off as of the next bill. So we'll set something up. Eileen will be in touch.
Can I go, because I agree with my daughter.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Thank
Nope.
you.
Sorry about that, guys.
Not a
Thanks
problem.
for coming.
Thank you. Okay, other tenants with questions on water bills. You're back. All right. Anybody else? And then we'll move to the mobile park. No? Okay. Joe, do you want to kind of give an overview of where we're at with the airport mobile home park?
Oh, sure. I guess I gotta start with the numbers. Currently, the trailer park owes $22,600 in back water. Their most current bill was $4,000. I think we talked to the trailer park tenants 3 months ago, 6 months ago, about the leak that was in the park. We were told at the time that the line would be repaired and that payments would be made. The line was not repaired. I have not seen any payments. This is a sticky situation, much like the last one, where there are 4 or 5 units, and just nobody seems to be paying, and it's been dragging on since I've been here, 4 or 5 years now.
But I noticed the water went down a little bit on the uses of it. Did that make a difference in the bill?
No, your bill is higher now than it has been.
Well, I had a printout somebody handed me this the other day when they came around. They said the water's going down where we were using less. I don't know why it's still high. But we did fix the leaks. So what would that be the reason why it's still here that's lower? I'm reading.
Can't say.
There may be more than one leak.
How could be more than one leak when we don't see it?
You live right next to a ravine where the water could just run into it, and you can see it and go underground.
Has there been any payment to the water since the last COVID payment?
No, we haven't seen any money from the trailer park since COVID money came through.
Yeah, but why would show on the readings where it would go down with the readings they handed me? And all of a sudden now you're saying it's still the same. When there's a difference on their little map here, they got showing me where it went down, the water usage.
Chucky, I can't explain it, I'm sorry.
Joe, what was so the last 2 payments have been made like COVID money, correct?
Correct.
What were those 2 payment amounts?
I don't have this payment amounts from. Sorry, they were tens of thousands of dollars.
Right now, the total bill is $22,600.
$22,600.
Just for the water bill.
just for the water.
Plus the current of four,
That's the total.
22 is the,
Yeah.
gotcha, 4 is current, 22 is that total.
Past due was 18.5, current due was 4,000.
Well, the problem I've got with this is all the people that run the water system are paying for this. Because this money's supposed to be in our budget, and we have to make it up somewhere. I'll be honest with you, I'm in favor of shutting the water off. And because they don't even make an attempt to pay the bill, and the bills that haven't paid was paid by state money or COVID money. If they're concerned, how many people come in here and ask to pay something on the water bill? Evidently, none of them, right?
Not since the last meeting when there was a threat of shutting off the water. Still nothing.
I'm just to the point that it's not fair to the rest of the people on the water system. They're footing the bill for this.
No, it's not. It's not fair at all. There's gotta be some attempt to catch these water bills up and keep them current. Gotta be.
So what are there any way we can do that when the people ain't paying their rent in part? Can we send them a letter from you
But
guys?
you don't understand, that's not the town's problem.
Yeah,
The town's problem is you're not paying your bills.
I'm paying mine. I'm
Well-
the one paying for all these water leaks.
Well,
And that's the one I'm kinda a little bit
evidently
upset
somebody
about.
isn't, because it's $22,000 that's owed to the town.
Well, I'm the one paying for the water leaks fixed right now, and I've been paying my rent.
Well, that's nothing, that's between you and your landlord, that's nothing to do with the town.
I mean,
Our problem is you owe the town this kind of money.
Well, the town's friggin', it's still tied up in probate, so nobody can really do much of anything. It's like,
You can still pay your bills.
well, what are you saying I ain't paying my bills?
I'm just saying, the trailer park owes $22,600. Somebody isn't paying their bills.
Well, we're not responsible when I pay my landlord.
Then that's who you want to be talking to, not us.
I mean, I'm just coming down here because everybody's sending a letter here, and we're the ones that are getting a punishment for it, where it ain't quite our fault. It should be tied up in the probate, should be the one here dealing with this.
That's who you should be dealing with. Because
I don't know how to get hold of this probate thing, and that's the whole thing.
you should be talking to your landlord and have it over with. That's what it should be, and the bill's gotta be paid. And like I said, I'm tired of it. This is continuous. I sat in this board many years before and we had the same problem with the trailer park every time. We had the money wasn't ever there. They always had an enormous bill, and I just feel that the taxpayers, I know I'm tired of it, and I feel the taxpayers are, and I don't think they should be responsible anymore.
How many tenants in the trailer park?
And all together, there's supposed to be better than 12, and out of all 12, there are probably 4 paying. Well, I'd like to know how a park's supposed to run on 4 people paying.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It can't, but that's not the town's responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we talked about this last time. You brought up the same argument, which is, it's a good argument, but it's for your landlord. There's only,
So, we gotta get
hold on
on
a second,
probate.
hold on a second. There's only 4 of you paying $200 or $300 a month. You can't even cover the cost of your water bill that way. And then you add on top of it, I mean, Joe, what's the back taxes on the
That's up there.
park up there?
Back taxes are $25,250.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of leaving the water on. I'd
I'm
support
not
shutting
either.
it off as soon as we can.
What are our options in this situation?
And it's something I've been trying to get at in this situation. The only real option for the town to recoup, and I use that term kind of loosely, recoup, is to sell the property at tax.
What's the property worth? I don't believe you're gonna get $50,000 out of that property. And we're left holding the bag. If it goes for a tax sale and nobody buys it, the town ends up holding the bag, and the town's the one's gonna be responsible for everything.
I see that as an opportunity though. It's a lot of acres, and like we did on North Main, it might cost a little bit.
What's it gonna cost us to clean it up?
I haven't tallied it yet, but there are brownfield funds that we can use, that we can get. Again, that's the the hard work to do, is to make, to improve the town. Like, that's the hard stuff right there, but it can be done.
But again,
Is the
it boils down to they owe the money, and It's not the town's responsibility to worry about what's going on. We've given them, it's not like they haven't had chances. They've had all kinds of agreements, nothing's been taken care of, and I'm sorry, I think it's time to pull the plug.
So, like you're saying, time to pull a plug, so what do you want the park people to do about this?
You go to your landlord, it's not our problem.
Yeah,
I would-
how can we try to do something here? Because I'm just like, I think that there should be a letter that, I had somebody evicted out, we had somebody that was trashing the park, bringing stuff there and dumping shit off. I cleaned all that up on my money. It's cleaned up most of it, and right now, I think that there should be a letter sent to everybody in there, they should pay at least $100 to the town for their water or something per month, or do something here, what do you think? I mean, because it's kinda hurting the people that are paying right now, and if we try to push the issue of freaking getting these other ones to pay, I think it'd be a lot better. But right now, we ain't got nothing to stand on, because it's tied up in probate court.
I think that maybe you should try to get hold of somebody, legal aid, somebody, to see, because you need a lawyer, because you guys come to us and argue
Yeah. it's like-
with us about something that, as everybody said, isn't we don't have any control of that. The
That's
only
like
thing we
me
have
coming
control
here
of is the
arguing,
water.
I don't have no control over either, because I'm just paying my rent like I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, and
And I'm the one who comes down here every time on this thing.
Chuck, when you pay your rent, do you just hand over, do you get a
Why
bill?
would we pay her in a friggin',
No, hold on a second. Do you get a bill that's itemized that says water, sewer, rent, lot rent?
no, it's just lot rent. We pay it right to,
Alright.
down here, I give it to Debbie Eddy, and she's supposed to be giving it to the probate, and they're supposed to be dealing with it.
I just didn't know if it was itemized though and it actually said water on it and you're paying a water bill and nothing's
You know,
making it here.
I mean, it's like, it's kinda confusing if you ask me, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because she's gotta have insurance on the land, being renting units there.
Not really.
May not have.
I mean, I don't know where the money's going right now unless somebody's,
The thing I'm gonna point right now, here, this is what's going on here, and she isn't even in here to try to make arrangements. She's the one that should be in here, not you. But evidently, she doesn't care, so, you know, why should the town? I'm sorry, you guys are in a terrible situation up there, but it's not up to us anymore.
so who do you think we should get a hold of? You got any numbers we can get a hold of, talk to people about this?
I don't know.
I would start with legal aid.
Legal aid?
I would, and they should be able to direct, if it's not them, it should be, they'll direct you someplace. I mean, that's the best we can do. I don't even know if that's in the best interest of town, me telling you that, but I don't, I feel bad. I feel bad for the tenants, but we can't continue to support the people, the owners of this property, which is
Like I
what we're
said, there are
doing.
4 people paying out of the whole park, and
Right.
there's 12 people there, so.
It's not a business model that's gonna work.
No, it's like 4 people paying and there are 8 people not paying.
What if you say,
So there goes friggin' quite a little revenue right there down to 2 people.
what if we say 1st of July, the bill has to be paid in full or everything's done?
Tomorrow.
No,
July ain't tomorrow.
July is June 1st, we're supposed to be done, right?
tomorrow is the day it should be turned
See,
on.
see, I hear what
I
you're
mean, what
saying.
I'm saying is, if you wanna make a short-term agreement, which I'm against, but do 1 month, the entire bill's paid, or the water's shut off, and there's no argument.
We've made agreement after agreement, and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So
I
how
believe
much is the
we've
friggin'
gone
what you're
through-
saying by the 1st?
Water gets turned off. The people, best advice I give the people in the Green Mountain Mobile Manor is you need to be talking to some people about where you're gonna live. Because the water's being turned off and we will tax sale that part. And that's what we should be doing. The only reason it's lasted this long after a year ago that we sat here and talked about it is because we had taken action during the winter. We're now out in the summer months. But quite frankly, I have no confidence that anything's gonna change in 1 month.
That's fine then.
If it was gonna be better, it would be better. So it's time to move on.
Well, my vote is to shut the water off.
I say turn the water off and we tax down the property, and I don't feel good about it, but that is, we've done more
Yeah, I would agree.
than what you would think, and trying to keep you going this long. And that's how I feel.
Rich, are you?
I feel the same way. The bills have to be paid on time for the sake of the whole township of Fairhaven. And I feel sorry for you because you and 3 other people or some, they're really taking the hose in up there, but you
I
have
put a
to.
shitload of money in the driveway up there, fixed my water
We
leak
don't
there
care.
last year, and, I mean,
I would say it's time.
I put
to-
probably since I've been there, close to over 10 grand.
Then you should have paid the water bill.
But it's time for you to find
Huh?
a new place to.
What'd you say?
You should have paid the water bill instead of doing the other work.
Yeah, it wasn't his.
It ain't my thing,
I-
I'm just trying to make it better for we can have a place to
I
live.
understand that, but
But the town can't keep going this way.
No.
Can't do it.
We don't have any other recourse.
And I think, Chuck, you came to the last meeting a year ago. I think you're trying to do the right thing. It's just, it's unfortunate. This is not going to be corrected. The end game is, it's here. So I don't know if you need a formal motion to disconnect or if you have that.
I mean, I would take one if the board wanted to give me one, but it's in our policy that we can move
It's
forward.
just follow the policy.
Yeah, it's just following policy at this point.
Okay, so move forward with,
Consensus of the board is
Yeah.
that.
consensus of the board to follow the policy and shut the water off.
Shut the water off, got settled. The Green Mountain Mobile Manor.
thank you.
Tomorrow, we're coming tomorrow.
Right?
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
I mean, what is everybody gonna do up there?
Again, it's not the town's problem. I'm sorry. You guys
Your
created,
landlord, you need to get your landlord to do something.
yeah.
We don't have any other recourse but this. To get that, have to happen.
I mean, any way somebody can get money down and keep it going, or what is this gonna do? Because I know nobody, I mean, these people are not paying, I mean, somebody should try to get some money out of these people, because they've been here for so long, they've got their tax refund, they got all this bullshit, and they ain't done nothing for nobody.
It's an astronomical amount. I mean, to even consider something,
I know.
we need to be paid up. It's just an ongoing problem. It's not your problem. It is your problem, but it's not,
It's not his
maybe
fault.
it's not your fault, but it's the
I know I've
landlord.
been down here a lot on this.
We gotta push this. We gotta get this.
My first stop right now when I left here would be at my landlord's.
No problem, no problem.
You're the only one from the trailer park here tonight?
Yeah, there's nobody else, everybody's just kind of blowing out, and everybody don't pay, so I don't care.
That's what's
Well,
happened.
We got
That's,
people down there that just don't care. And there's no reason they should pay. You know? There's none at all.
All right, sorry, but it's the process the town has to take. You know, the way the town recoups their money is they shut off the water, and then tax sale is the next step in the process. That's,
Has anybody got a way to get a hold of this probate on this thing? Anybody can talk to that, about that, or we can try to get a hold of a lawyer or something who's in.
I think you need to get hold of a lawyer, I think you need to get hold of a lawyer and they will insinuate themselves in the
So
probate.
basically I gotta pay a lawyer.
Well, legal aid is usually free.
Legal aid will help you pay the lawyer.
Yeah, legal aid well, that's where I'd go first. I don't know, I can't tell you anything else, I don't know.
and with the last person that was here, maybe the Fairhaven Concerned, if you contact them, the spot downtown, they might be able to push you in the right direction. Yeah.
Right, and even if there's a contact, I don't know who that is, with the state for, understand, when you turn the water off and you tax sale the land, everyone's gonna need to find a place to live. And there might be some, between Fairhaven Concerns who would know the people at the state, that's, I mean, I think anything that involves attorneys and probate is so time consuming, that's the time that I don't think you have. I do the basic stuff first, and that is, where am I gonna live? So that I have water, sewer, in place, and that's not the prayer and concern, I'm pretty sure they know the people to contact, so that can happen, then I would
So how
follow
does that
the
work for
first.
people that are, that own their trailers? There's some people who own their trailers down there. If they're selling land off, is that?
They'd have to move the trailer
Yeah,
down.
book your trail, find another place.
They're separate on the,
Yeah.
on the tax roll, they're separated out.
So they can
Right,
move their
so
trailer to another.
If we tax sale, we take the land. We don't take the individual trailer, correct, Joe? Yeah, they, like Chris said, they're separated, so
Yep.
there's
Probably
one
on
or
the
both or the other, depending on how it goes, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, couldn't help that.
Alright,
Thank you, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys are all set, right? Yeah. You're here for the dog park, I'm assuming, because you've got your shirt on, so you're ready to go for the opening.
Is it public comment on?
It is, well, almost. Approval of the minutes from May 17th. Is there a motion for that?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Glenn. Any corrections needed?
There is one,
Got one?
just let me find it here. It was put in here as,
Page 6, maybe? The adventure.
yeah, you got J, it was put in as J Bruno instead of Mike Bruno.
Yes, that's correct.
What page?
Page 6.
6, I think, there.
It's talking about the contract at the Devil's Bowl Speedway.
And it's supposed to be,
Mike Bruno.
Mike Bruno.
Mike Bruno. And
Yeah, right
while
there.
we're writing that paragraph,
Fourth line down, there in
the next, in that paragraph towards the bottom where it's time to it's a money-making adventure. It could be, but I'm pretty sure that was adventures what they meant to have it be a money-making venture, as long as we're fixing that.
the, yeah,
so not adventure.
could be an adventure.
And then there's one more on page 7 where it says the Bobcat needs to be trailered, not tailored.
Oh, good catch.
We don't have
See
I think
that?
I think
That's on
spell
page
check
7.
was trying to fix it for,
What's that?
you know.
Second paragraph.
I didn't write these.
No, I know that. I know that.
Second, what is it now?
It says the Bobcat needs to be trailered, not tailored.
Other questions?
That's the only ones I found.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Now we are at public comment.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Okay. It went so well last time. Okay. So I took some pictures out at the dog park. If you would just pass it around. That's the signpost that was moved, the gate post. And it was moved further away, so even if it weren't coming out of the cement, which is this picture, it's not gonna meet the other gate. It just, and then this is the gate by our lovely garden, which won't meet that gate. There's not only a width distance, there's a height difference. One is like on the ground and the other is up here. So I don't know why these gates, until they get something that works for gates, cannot be taken off those posts. They look like hell, they really do.
What's the purpose of these gates, anyone
There is
know?
no purpose.
All they do is they block it off so nobody can go down the airport.
Usually close those
So you need 'em.
for season when it's not for travel through there, so yard there.
So this
doesn't
is
get all
just,
tore
this is just mud season.
up.
Kids will get up there and do donuts up on
The way it was reset was known that they were not to match in distance, that there would be change between them because there's no funding for a new gate up there
Right, that, we talked
Why-
about that.
when we put it together.
But the one that's so high, can't it be put in the ground a little lower, so it at least look halfway decent? It's not, like that one's on, like on a 45-degree angle.
The cement is, there's a picture of the
The
big
cement's-
crack
it's
where it's
coming
coming out.
Steve, though.
Was there also a concern, doesn't Jeff, in order to get farm equipment through there, it has to be a certain width? So it's not as easy just making it tighter because he won't be able to get his farm equipment through there either. That's just a,
Open up the other road the way it should be.
well, that's,
Wouldn't have the problem.
I agree with you. That's another, but I remember our discussion that you were gonna have to use the chain in order to do that because
Yeah.
we eventually, if what you're asking them to say, hey, it looks bad, and I agree, but it's, we just don't have the money right now.
But, so it's not being used, it can't be used now. I mean, because once they start swinging that gate off the cinder block, it's coming right out of the ground. So I'm saying, why can't those gates be removed until they come up with something that's gonna work? It's not gonna work when it's literally coming out of the ground.
Why can't you just pull them and put a cable across there?
Wishes of work.
I mean, that'd be a temporary fix for now, and pull them out and put some posts in cement, dig a hole and put some cement in there, and cable them all the time. Just keep a cable up with a lock on it.
I don't have a preference either way, I guess, how it, or you pull them and
Just,
paint them this summer at some point when you have some downtime, whenever that might be, and put them back up. Yeah, I've been up there.
I've been there. I go up there about once a week and turn around. I go up and see how many dogs is up there.
They have a temporary fix, it's some,
Yeah, whenever people start now, there's, when you start talking, putting a cable across somewhere, I think of someone racing through on
I don't even care if you just go straighten that gate out and put it so it's straight and put a cable in the middle of it, I don't care. But make it look halfway
The gates
decent.
aren't closed in the summertime anyway, I assume. Right?
don't we usually close them, did? No.
Spring is usually winter sometimes, depending on the fall, depending on weather it is.
Have to leave them open for flyers.
I prefer the gates stay versus a cable because of liability issues.
Yeah.
Gates are a lot easier to see. The cable in the dark.
But it seems like what should happen is the gates be removed from the post while it sets, so it actually sets the way, and dig it down so it's gonna stay. But in any case, the gates would, if you're gonna fix it, have to come off those posts. I mean, because the way it was done, it makes no sense.
Can they come down for the summer, Aaron, and then when you guys get some time?
Yes, but I can't guarantee time.
No, I get it.
That's where I spent well over a week up there working on
Now
stuff
look at how
that
much money
was not.
we put into that airport,
Yeah.
oh, that we didn't budget already.
I don't think the gates would have to come off and get it repaired right. If you set that down, re-cement it, block the gate so it stays level till the cement cures. That's all you need to do.
So that was done when they took the thing off with the ground as messy as it was. It is up
It was
there.
some sound.
Play up there. Nothing's gonna stay good.
It needs to be, if we're gonna do it, we have to spend actual money on it and put real close in there. They tried to reuse what was there and put some more cement to it, but it didn't hold. As a picture show.
They didn't dig, that one, they didn't dig it down deep enough to begin with. Not if it's going like this, I mean,
Yeah, but I see what he's saying now. It's
No
not
post.
keeping a post, it's got a concrete ball on the bottom.
Alright. So there's no consensus there?
What do you wanna, well,
open the gate and leave it open.
right, I'm sensitive to the fact, I don't want the DPW guys spending another couple days up there when we're so far behind on work right now. Now, if there's a safety issue with that gate being, we can't set, then we should fix the safety issue, especially now we're gonna have quite a few people up there
Yeah.
Sunday. But I like leave it open.
Is there a safety issue or is it just look bad?
Well, there's a sharp end to the gate right by the garden. Walk into. I mean, you know, it's just, you look at the aesthetics, and this is also a rec area. And so we're gonna get, I'm hoping, a pretty good crowd up there. And that's, I'm sorry, that's the first thing you see, is those horrible gates, one hanging down, both of them rusty. It's just, if they're not functional the way they are, I just don't understand why they couldn't be unclamped from the post. They can't.
I'm for leaving the gates like we,
I think we should leave the gates for now. I think if it's a jagged edge or something, we could put a cone there, put a safety, tape or something. Make do for right now.
All right, can we paint them? Can we paint them something to them?
I don't have a problem with painting them.
if you wanna pay them, we're not gonna send the DPW. I'm speaking myself, I don't wanna spend the DPW folks up there.
I didn't ask for DPW, we stepped in and gotten a lot done, that, you know, DPW probably would have had to, so, you know, we're not, and we don't wanna stress DPW more. Yeah, but,
Okay.
So I think the direction is to leave the gates, and the dog park committee wants to paint them. By all means.
now is there a restriction on what color the gate?
I don't know, Aaron, is there any safety colors you need, or?
We're gonna say we want something that's obvious. The cable would be the same as painted in green or something.
Yeah.
Runs right into the field.
So a yellow, red, orange.
Hot paint.
Joe says no to hot
Yeah.
I got purple tires, a hot pink fence man.
Yellow's a standard color for all the
Safety.
trails, all through every place I've ever worked.
That's why I would paint it.
Yellow's good.
Yellow is a standard safety, trailing, barricade type
Okay.
paint.
Here's the highlight, yeah.
All right, anything else for public comment?
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we got a bill for work that was done on the water line and everything, and I asked for receipts because we're liable to people that donate how we're spending the money. Just saying that there is topsoil and it's costing $320 isn't enough. We'd like to know where it was purchased, was a little bit used because there was no topsoil up there. And we did get a bill, which we come to an agreement that we're not paying. But if there's a bill for topsoil and there was none put on that field, then that's a problem.
So, as I talked to Joe, topsoil was put up there.
How could that be
The
there?
topsoil was put up there. We have not received the invoice for the topsoil yet, so therefore I cannot show you the invoice. We charged by the yard, and that's what we put up there was 2 loads for 16 yards, 8 yards on each of those trucks. That bill, when it comes, will be made relevant to you, but the price that we have on it was $20 a yard for that topsoil. So
But it's all
320.
block and clay.
Yeah,
There's nothing.
Joe said something about.
As I told you as well,
videos.
we can bring more up there, but 16 yards is put up there. If it doesn't show in one spot,
At all.
No, I took a video of the whole, I walked around the whole park, back and forth, back and forth. It was rocks and hard clay.
That was it.
There was nothing that even resembled topsoil. Nothing that even resembled.
Okay, so,
I just would
I'm
like
not being rude, but what you're saying is that everybody in DPW is a liar and that they're lying.
No, I'm
Well, no, but
All you
that's
have
what,
to do is look.
so, I mean, but so you're saying that everybody who's worked out there is a liar and is lying to you, and that's not the case. Those
I'm
guys
not
went out
saying
there,
it's-
well,
No, I'm saying that there should be receipts.
and they're,
If we're paying out of the account, there should be receipts for the purchase of cement. There should be receipts for the grass seed, for everything else, the wood. But all I see is topsoil, price, cement, price. There's not, how many guys, there's nothing. And I don't do business that way. I don't assume the town does. That there should be invoices for the things that we're paying for.
And I think
out of
Aaron
that
just
account.
said that,
apologies. I will put more effort into that. However, up there, that's been a priority to get it ready for you for the weekend. And I still have all the other work that we have to do every day that the whole town requires. I can't focus on just getting receipts for every nickel and dime for something that my guys spent a week up there for, and I lost their time doing town projects for a whole week plus, just to come and hear about how I'm not fast enough getting receipts. I'm working on that.
It was just an $800 bill instead of grass seed and hay, which is what we were told besides water park. $800 was an exorbitant amount to come out of the account. And I just wanted to have the receipts on hand so that if we're questioned, we raised so much money, but all of the coin drop money went for the water park parts and for fixing that field. So it's not unreasonable that we would have receipts. And there's, as long as you do have receipts, that's fine. You know, as long as we can eventually get them, so we have them for our records.
Where was this topsoil put? Was it in the dog park itself?
No,
Was it by the,
pavilion, next to
The
the pavilion, where they dug up the
pavilion.
water for the water.
what's that got to do with the dog park? The pavilion is the town, that's what the town used to rent. So why is it all of a sudden?
Because it was a water line.
The water line
For the dog
extension, I
park,
think,
for the
through the
Did you
dog
go
park.
and see how much they, I mean, to dig a water line, you only have to have a hole this wide.
No, yeah, we.
It's the whole side of the property's all been dug up.
Well, it was
The
awful.
whole side of the property is not dug up. The whole side of the property is where the spoils piles were, and all that clay is not just digging a 2-foot wide trench, it's digging the trench wide enough to be safe for the guys operating.
It was a real muddy mess up there. I was there that day. And they did have to dig a little wider than normal, and it was wicked muddy everywhere, so I can understand why it's like it is. I really can.
Okay, anything else for public comment? Okay, thank you.
Well, actually, I just have a quick question. This is something I should probably know, but the tractor trailer that's parked on the corner on West Street in Washington, moved out, the big tractor, you can't, when you're coming off West Street and you want to make a left turn in Washington, you have to come into the road practically to see what's coming down Washington Street. Is there anything that can be done about that?
It's public parking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I may add to this, I live down off West Street. I specifically asked the chief about that, and he said there's nothing that can be done. because,
Parking
like you
area.
said, it is legally parked, and it's far enough back in the
dangerous.
corner. I told him the same thing, it's a safety issue, because I've almost T-boned a couple people, and
Yeah,
I've
I
been
mean,
almost
you really have
T-boned,
to come
so.
out into.
But it's legally parked, and there's nothing that can be done about it.
Just give it a shot.
Well, nothing can be done about it unless it is a safety issue, and we put no parking from X to, like we did. There, when you say nothing can be done.
Well,
no,
I'm going by what the chief.
No, nothing can be done.
We
with
have to
the-
change
with
the
current-
ordinance.
with
We have
the
to change
current
the
rules
ordinance.
Where we are, but if we have, and it's 2 data points now, keep coming. I'd like to think we have the ability
To change the parking area.
to change it, to
No
change
parking.
that to no parking because of the inability to see, just like we've
You
done
know,
out by
if
the
you
grade
keep
school.
doing that, everybody's going to come in here and start complaining about where cars are parked in front of their house. And you're going to want to do it. You know, you've been told, it's public parking. The guy parks legally. What are you going to do? It's no different, you know. I'm
It's a
just,
safety issue.
I know it's hard to see around there, but there's a lot of corners that's hard to see around.
All right, we're moving on from public comment. Thank you, everybody. Department head reports. Start with Aaron, since you're in attendance tonight. Is Chief online or not?
I thought he was, but he's not there anymore.
Aaron, go ahead.
Highway, start off with that. Guys were busy again, getting ready for Memorial Day celebrations. We got that up and going. Sounded like it. I was in attendance for the parade, and it was quite the gathering for being the first time back. So that's awesome.
Nice job.
Guys were out down on Swamp Road and Hot Patch all the deep poles down there before they came through. Paving started last Friday, they finished today on Swamp Road. Probably Thursday, Friday, the guys will be down there doing shoulder work as much as they can. Hitting at least the really high spots to make sure the driveways are all set. Dug on Carnarvon for a water leak. We were able to make a temporary repair at the point of leak. But the bigger portion of that dig was to get the water service line away from the new telephone pole or new power pole that was placed there. Green Mountain Power went a little close to the midlight to that service line, and the homeowner ended up hearing a water leak or running water. And when we went to figure it out, it was on the service line around the area of the telephone pole. The leak itself ended up being far away from the pole, farther away from the pole. On the service line, just up from the main itself, the age of that pipe, there was no fittings available to make a permanent repair on it. We're waiting for those pieces to come in so we can make a permanent repair and or have to re-tap that line and just cap off that whole corporation. So we're waiting on that. Running here and there and everywhere. Following up on complaints and other issues that arise throughout the time. Sewer department, the last week and a half, the River Street pump station's been doing us a little bit of a finicky issue, calling every few hours or so for either high level or low level. Did a little bit of work ourselves, changed the transducer out, which senses the liquid level in the wet well. Unfortunately, that was not the part. Troubleshot it some more, and we didn't make any successful repairs to it. We had a company in today and found out what part was bad, so that part's on order to get in so we can stop getting phone calls every other hour or so when that pump station's doing its thing. Adams Street pump station's one step closer to complete with its upgrade. The liquid propane line was removed today from the building that fed the old motor generator that was back up the pumps. Now we have the electrical generator out back, so we don't need that motor in there anymore, so we can get rid of that liquid propane line, which is a good thing. So the plant itself, they're back to all that's really left is some minor subgrade stuff around the storage or the chlorination room and storage barn area. That's part of that extra work that we're having them complete as part of money realized through the project or savings realized through the project. Otherwise, they were topsoil in some other areas today. And we had startup on the security system in the control building itself, as well as training on all the VFD operations. So the variable frequency drive units, so they tell the pumps to ramp up, ramp down, and all that. So we got to have a little fun with those today. Water department, over the weekend we saw quite a bit of usage, we're hoping, of water. Spiked up there pretty good. We were out looking around a little bit today. Levels seem to be a little better today than what was used overnight last night into today. So we're hoping that stabilizes and we can ensure that we don't have a leak somewhere that we're unaware of. I've had no complaints or anything like that, so we're just hoping that the hot, dry weekend was really our big usage item for that. Meters?
Actually, I updated it today. There are 9 vacant properties in town. On top of that, there's 3 that the town owns, so that's 12. We have 17 meters left to change up. And there's a few of them that we know we have to reschedule, but like Tamara Slade, the high school, they're bigger meters, and I guess the board or we need to get together. Probably going to change them out size for size, because obviously the old Skyline needed a lot more water than Tamara Slade was. That's a 4-inch meter. So are we going to swap it out and put a new 4-inch meter in? Or are we going to, I mean, that's down the road, but I mean, that's one of the issues.
So we're closer there.
Yep, we have 29 meters left to change out. Total, I mean, that's vacant properties and everything.
We're there?
Good.
We're almost there. So like the high school is only a few years old as it is now.
That was one of the last old meters to get installed, so we were saving that. last, just to get the money out of
You have to read that one separately now, I mean,
it. Yes.
because you can't read that,
that's
you
still
can't read it,
manual
yeah,
reading.
manual reading.
No one that was, before you knew, probably.
So it's the
4 or
same,
5 months
same
into
as
it.
Camara's down there.
Well, no, Camara's is still the old.
That's a read that you have to go read,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Now, if you
That-
change the
that is
meter,
the new one.
if you change that meter down there to a smaller meter, it's a smaller, do they have to change your piping, or do you just, how do you do it?
Well,
They'll have to do it,
That's
correct?
not up to us, that's,
Their
their-
problem,
right.
okay. You'll
Does it
just
make-
you'll tell them which size meter you're gonna put in, and they gotta adapt their pipes to you.
Right.
Okay.
But they're permitted for a 4-inch certain,
Yes,
certain
and that's-
size
That's
now.
why, you know, are we just gonna switch it out? So that's
It
there.
would be easier just to switch it out.
Conversation we have to have with them.
With them
first.
first, yeah.
Because if they're allocated for so much water, we need to be able to provide it.
Right. And, I mean, I don't have the authority to go in and say, hey, you gotta go spend.
Well, if he's
X
developing the
amount of dollars
property, he
for a
might
plumber.
want the water anyways.
Right.
You might want us to keep as is.
Alright, we're getting there.
So that would be a, you know, budget thing, because what, that 4-inch meter was also put in the laundromat, and those were $2,700. Well, yeah, they're probably 10 grand now. That is, something that we'll have to, you know, put into the budget.
So that's quite a few manual reads for 10 grand. If there's only a
Well,
few.
that was just a number I threw.
No,
out.
I know, I know.
Yeah, well,
They're
the
expensive.
one for the laundromat was 2,700.
At the high school, it's not an issue ever to get in there and read that meter.
No, I fixed it and ran the wire outside the building now, so we don't have to go into the school.
Alright.
There's no properties in town that we have to physically go into. Everything's on the outside of the house.
Okay. Questions for Aaron or Mike or?
I got a question. Who's gonna do the shoulders on?
We are.
You know how long that's gonna take you? You gotta put shoulders the whole length, both sides of that road.
Okay.
Why don't you ask about having them bring their machine in? They'll put the shoulder on in 4 hours, both
Yeah.
sides.
We can't afford it. I can, but we can't afford it.
Well, but if you don't do any better job than what they've done on River Street, putting shoulders on, we're gonna be in the same situation again. You weren't here when they did River Street, but it wasn't done right. I mean, half it wasn't even done. You go on the corner over by Mrs. Stanley's house, their old house, and that whole inside that corner is all, there's a drop off like that off the dam. You got places over here on Swamp Road, they're that deep. And I don't think you don't have enough time to do that.
I understand that,
Well,
but like I said, I don't have the money or the time, so I can't, it's a no-win situation for me. 'Cause I know if I don't go down there and get those shoulders done,
You're not gonna
We're
roll
gonna
it,
spend-
and if they don't do it properly, if they don't roll it in, what's the sense even doing it?
It really shouldn't roll in.
And they never roll nothing in. I mean, we got that big roller down there,
Is
and you
anybody,
never use it.
has anybody got a price on backing them shoulders up for the side pay?
I can ask.
I
I
mean,
haven't because like I said, it's not something we've never been able to afford before, so.
but if you
it's
got your
never
own
been
material, you got your own material to do it, right?
Oh, we're gonna use grindings because I'm low on gravel and
Okay, so-
I don't have money for gravel.
The grindings are even better. It's gonna make even better shoulder. I just feel that you ought to see what the price, you got 2 trucks here. And you use the little ones all the time anyways. I think all you have to do is rent the machine and have 2 people there. And get the roller going and do it. I mean, get a price on the machine. I mean, they'll do it in a day, less than a day. I worked with that machine for many years, and just because it'll take you guys 2 months to do that. And what would you, who picked up the garbage in the park after green up?
After,
I mean, not the green up, after the spring fling.
a couple guys came in Monday morning to do that.
So, we had 2 guys at the landfill that worked until at least 4 o'clock. This was over with at 3. Instead of bringing guys in and paying them double time and a half on a Sunday, why couldn't those 2 guys at the dump go and pick this stuff up?
Still then overtime after 4 o'clock for them.
But you didn't pay them regular overtime, not double time. Because you brought these guys in and they probably all got at least 3 hours, right?
I'm not sure. So this is the first time anyone has had to come in after spring fling to do
But
trash
it's-
pickup.
it's-
That's always been left till the first working day.
Yeah, but it's
So
always,
it was not on any overtime.
yeah, well, it's just, you've been better off having guys come, one guy could have came down from the dump earlier and done it.
There needs to be 2 people at the transfer station.
Not for an hour. You think there's 2 people up there all the time? Do you really think there's 2 people there all the time?
Supposed to be, correct?
You're supposed to be.
Well, they're
there, 2
not.
people there.
They're not there all the time. So for an hour, it wouldn't have made any difference at all. It's just the extra money we're always spending here all the time.
Why couldn't the trash be left till today?
I was asked on Saturday afternoon.
Because it had been spread all over Hill and
I
Damnation.
asked Aaron to bring something in. It was quite the mess.
Well, I think next year that the Chamber of Commerce should be responsible for picking up the garbage. They rented the park, they're the ones that had the thing on, they should be responsible for it. Years
think
ago,
that's-
Bobby Spalding would come in
Yeah,
there,
right.
within 10 minutes after the place was shut down, pick it up.
I think that's gonna be one of the postmortems of the parade, is to figure out the garbage.
I think
situation.
anybody that rents the park for anything should be responsible for garbage.
Always. Anybody that comes into the park, they're very respectful and they clean up after themselves. This particular program, for some reason, it got dumped on the town.
Yeah,
Like a
well,
lot of things though, everybody's like, what, just have
It's one of the
DPW.
things that I don't think anybody thought of.
Right. Yeah.
And so, next year,
when they have the
that
car,
will be nailed.
when they have the car show, that should be put in
Yeah.
the time. They have to clean
But
up
not to
the garbage.
lose track of the fact that
It was good.
great parade, haven't had one
Yeah.
in 2 years, great parade. Well, good to see everyone out there and all the, a lot of young folks, at the parade, which was nice to
And-
see.
It was also, the park was well prepared before.
Yes,
It looked good.
They came and I was gonna call
There was
about
no
the-
long weeds up to, by
I
the
was gonna
posts.
call about the mowing, and they were there, they trimmed it on Wednesday, and they were in there Friday mowing it, so it looked good.
Helicopter landed fine, obviously. I saw it leave, I was at softball game.
Off like a shot.
There
They
was
saw the
no,
clouds and then checked the radar and
They were gone.
We're out of here.
they said there was no dust,
No, no.
it wasn't bad, they said it wasn't too
No,
bad.
there wasn't any
Good.
rush.
All right, Aaron, well, thank you, and thank you for,
Wasn't
Aaron,
your fault.
thank you for the work you've done at the dog park too. That was uncalled for. You guys have worked your butt off up there,
Yes.
and the board appreciates the work you've done
Everything
for
you've
it.
done.
I think, yeah, I think they spent a lot of time when they could've been out doing other work.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was there a couple of times and these guys were working up there and they done a good job, so.
Yeah.
Swamp Road does look good. The guys did a nice job up there.
So, I'm sure everyone's seen the sign, but tomorrow starts, the state's end of paving on 20 Way down there, so.
Oh, down the New York State line?
Yep,
Are they gonna, they're grinding that too,
I
aren't
would
they?
assume so.
Yeah.
I haven't, for some reason, they don't like to communicate with us. We always have to call them, and as I kind of just said, we've been really busy, so I haven't been able to sit down and make phone calls to tell people, hey, what are you doing and when are you doing it? So the sign's there.
At the parade, I had someone who lives right there saying, why did they stop? When are they gonna finish that 22A? So it's nice to hear that they're gonna be bringing that back up.
When you,
Where are you gonna go from the state line back to
where, right in front of my apartment house,
from your place?
in front of the apartment house down. When they were paving, was one of your guys able to be out there with them when they paved, or?
There was, I stopped down a couple times, Nate was down there a few times.
Yeah, if you're busy, you can't be there.
Can't be there all the time. Everything, the tonnage, talking with Mike was right on point as to what we estimated and paying for, so.
Good.
We pay by the ton, so his estimates were about right on par for how much we were supposed to be putting on that road,
Good.
so.
It looks good, they did a nice job.
And Mike did say today, he said that help the guys getting down there. I told Nate late last week, or early last week, that he needed to get down there with hot mix to fill in the deeper ruts because, as you guys know,
It saves on
it
mix.
saves it because once they go to put it in there and they try to roll it in there, there's still gonna be a hole there and you're still,
That's right.
you'll get uneven compaction and you'll end up having a pothole come back through that same spot, so. said it'll help tremendously, so.
Too bad you couldn't have put a load in the tracks that way where the holes are. Where there's not enough bucket.
All the way down.
Put another inch and a half right there.
Anything else for Aaron?
No, good.
Joe, or you want to do police department?
Yes, I'll do a brief overview of the police department. The police report was in your boxes, but just to hit the top end highlights, the police did 100 traffic municipal violations, did 100 municipal violations this month, last couple of weeks, 24 written warnings and 2 parking violations. For some reason, people have stopped doing fingerprints around the state, so everybody is coming to Fairhaven now, so we've really been raking in the cash on that. They did 32 sets of civilian fingerprints over the last couple of weeks. That's $20 a pop. I tried to get them to raise that price. Bonnie told me no. And that's what I got for the police.
Okay. Question I have is May 23rd, the issue from our prior doc hearing.
Yes. The police are issuing tickets for every complaint received.
It's ongoing.
So, yeah, it seems to be.
I happened to drive by one day and there wasn't any mitigation.
I was talking to the dog warden, and I said to him, like, why don't they, there's a lot of property up there. So why don't they fence off the north end of their property and keep the dog away from that other section? That'd probably eliminate a lot of the problems, you know. So, he said he asked them to do that, and I guess there was no response, so.
All right. So,
He's on it. He's doing a good job up there. He's back and forth all the time.
Other questions for PD? And town manager report?
Start with junk hearings. So the junk.
Oh, junk.
Yep. 1012 Adams Street, we issued last summer, we were issuing violations to that household for excessive junk and trash in their yard. We finally got a court date of June 14th. So we'll be going to court to hopefully move that along.
10-12, same as the water issue?
Yes, same property owner.
Yeah.
I need to ask the board, there is a vicious dog problem up at Apple Tree. And the police department would like to have a vicious dog hearing, a real vicious dog hearing, where the dog actually has bitten people. They're proposing June 14th at 6:30, if that's okay with the board.
Prior to a board meeting?
Okay, just before the board meeting, yes.
Half an hour should be plenty.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I will let the PD know. Audit's going well. Most of that paperwork is in. I still need to dig out a few things out of the server, but we're getting there. We talked about the dogs already. We talked about the tickets already. Talking about the trailer park. I had a visit from the feds. The IRS was in last week on the 25th. They're also looking to take action against the trailer park. The trailer park owes the IRS and the Department of Justice a ton of money. So they came in and gathered the information I had. He went down and took pictures. So, nope. Plugging up the system.
Can I ask a question on that? Who's in line first?
The town is in line first for money. I mean, if we take it and sell it, the IRS won't get anything. They have the option to redeem that's their power, is to redeem before everybody else. And, well, I don't have a lot today. Swamp Road, we just talked about. Dog Park grand opening's on the 5th. Well, it looks like I didn't do any work last couple weeks. And that's what I have for you.
Okay. Question for Joe?
Just a question about the letter The letters, did they go out properly?
The letters,
We had a letter from
from
Bonnie.
yes. Before the letters went out, I sat down with Eileen and we talked about the timing on it. That went out correctly. And then I know the water department went out and they hand-delivered red slips to all except the 4 clearly abandoned trailers. So yes, we followed our process, just as we
So
always
you guys personally delivered and left on the property?
Yes, they were slid in the doors. And for the ones that weren't out and
Yeah.
met us, I mean, you know, they
Yeah.
see the truck and they pretty much know what's coming, but
Yep.
there was a letter at every end.
Good.
Can I ask a question to Joe on the board? Number 2 was an action taken.
Which one, John?
Item number 2.
Yeah, the board will be shutting the water off tomorrow. Or not the board. Water department will be shutting the water off tomorrow.
Time frame?
That's an
tomorrow.
administrative thing between Joe and his staff.
8 a.m. Talk to you.
Okay. Other questions for Joe? Okay, thanks, Joe. Moving on to policy review. We've got the purchasing policy. Joe took into account some of the recommendations from board members. I think this might even come up when Aaron was at the last meeting talking about some of the dollar values on bidding and such.
Right.
And we have another draft to review. And Joe, I think you updated with some new legal guidance, right? Is that those first couple bullets?
Those first 2 bullets were, I took the wording from the Vermont League of City and
Yeah.
Towns,
Model
their
policy.
recommended model policy for purpose, and
Yeah.
in the purpose statement, the affirmative action and local preference was one, because they have a fairly, with last fall, I think, when we accepted our diversity and inclusion statement for the
Yeah.
board. And basically what it says is when you're looking at ordinances or policies, you should, like when we're looking at the purchasing policy, see if there's something for inclusion, and that's where you get their recommended wording for that there. It also, the nice thing is it gave you the local, the option that if you're using town funds
Local.
to spend, the local preference is included in that paragraph. Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Page 2, the numbers, the only changes or the recommendations were in the bidding procedure. I think we were talking about how the old policy, it was causing us to go get 2 quotes because everything's getting more expensive and the numbers were way low. So when you see the proposal of changing from the 2,000 as the min to 5,000 to give more, and it was but less than 5,000, and changing that to 15,000. Now those are just recommendations for us to talk about in light of the fact of how everything is, the price these days and where they've gone. Number 2, it was taking the 5,000 of any purchase of 5,000 and said 15,000 but less than 25,000. Putting into today's dollars. And number 3, where you're looking for a request for proposal, instead of 7,500, use 25,000. Was at least a starting point.
Yeah.
And if you want, and then you want to talk, I can go through the whole thing of reserve funds and how you handled them was listed under the bidding procedure in the old policy. And all I'm recommending is you pull it out and call it reserve funds. And, you know, if the one that says no staff member, including the town manager, will use reserve funds for discretionary expenditures without the express approval of this select board. The one that's a little bit different and a little bit, a little bit dicey. When we got the letter from our auditing folks here, and they were talking purchasing policy a little earlier, under that it was The two concerns that came out were, are you following your purchase order procedure? And the other one was, did you have a good, the number of quotes, that the dollar values were probably small enough that they couldn't, and don't let me oversimplify, but it was, they basically were saying, hey, you've got a rule that says you get so many quotes, you gotta be able to show you got so many quotes on each of those, so. Taking that into account, I put a purchase order, and Rich mentioned something about P cards and where he worked. And I said, you know something, as long as we're talking about it, let me put procurement cards, at least for discussion purposes, in here. So number one, we said any purchase of vehicles, equipment, supplies, materials, or services need to be signed, have a signed purchase order, signed by the authorized purchasing agent for the board. I put in parentheses town manager, saying I think it is, and just wanted to validate the town manager is our authorized purchasing agent. Number two was, if we did go the P card route, the procurement card, department heads will have P cards with a set limit of, and I just threw $5,000 to cover the cost of equipment, supplies, materials, and services. Now there was, I asked Joe to do some research and said, hey, find out who's using P cards and what's going on. And my understanding was that you check with like Rutland and Brandon, they're not. And my comment to them, I'm saying, okay, could be that they're using just like municipal. I always say municipal government's here, business operates at here, and there sometimes there might be a little lag in what you're doing, but just the reason for procurement cards in my mind, if you're going out buying a lot of smaller items where you have your accounts at different places, sometimes it costs you more than what you're spending to handle the invoice, write the check, and the administrative piece with it. It costs you more money than the item you're getting. The P card usually is a little more, and I might be oversimplifying, so correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, but it sometimes streamlines, it helps you keep track of it a little better, because you get a printout. Also, the thought was, if you wouldn't need, if you're using a P card, you don't need a purchase order signed off. Go use the P card. It works in the place of that signed.
But that's not part of this. We're not making policy saying we're going to have P cards. We're just saying that if we did, that's what.
If we,
Right.
right, I put it there in the discussion, that's why I went, put it out here. I said, it would be totally new for this town, and probably, I think, I bet there are some municipalities in the state of Vermont that use P cards. Probably the larger, Burlington might, or some of the larger.
They work really well. We use them at the school, and it's great because you could lock Aaron down to only being able to purchase from Abishon's, Gilmore's, Mobile. I mean, you can lock it down by vendor, by categories. You can put $500 limit on it. You could put a $20,000 limit on it.
But we're not talking about that.
No, that's a different conversation.
Another conversation.
But I think it's,
We're not authorizing that by saying, we're just making a policy that if we did have it.
If you had them,
Yeah.
it's in the policy, you don't have to go rewrite it again.
Well, I think, number one, the bidding procedure, I think vehicles should be scratched out of number one. And number two, I think to be able to go out and buy $25,000 worth of stuff without authorization, I think that's a lot. I understand you gotta have more purchasing power, but I think that's a little more than it should be. I think that 15,000 should be 10
And agree with that.
on one, yeah,
but less than 10,000.
But let's,
less than 10,000.
Fine. I think anything more than what we have now is
It is
a
a
good
win.
thing. Aaron, what was your example a couple meetings ago about, I think Mike was looking at electrical work up at the,
So that was number 3, would be the RFP
You would be in 3.
process. Yep. Anything above 7,500 requires the written proposals, and then they bid, go through this whole bid procedure.
75 does seem low for that,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree
Is
with that.
25 right or not? What was that project, for example, that you were looking at, like, just to get a,
The chemical tank
Chemical
was
tank.
gonna be, I did get 3 quotes.
yeah,
2 were well over 50.
yeah,
The one that we were looking at and the ones that I thought we were gonna go ahead and get
yeah,
was 21,000. I put out 25 because at that time, there was
Yeah.
no shipping. We had a place to work. And I did get an email from Eastern Reliability, who is the sales company.
yeah,
The manufacturer, as of tomorrow, is putting in a big increase just because of their
yeah.
costs. So it would probably have to be all leased back as far as prices go.
I was also thinking in terms of if you went out and wanted to buy a mower, a SCAD mower,
Full RFP process.
it'd be the full RFP process versus if these numbers change with a higher amount.
So just calling, getting a quote, and me just comparing apples to apples is a lot quicker than me having to write the full sheet, send it out to bid, wait the whole time period, get the quotes back, then still have to double check everybody's stuff. And the way the market, like I said, the way market is right now so volatile that some prices only last so many days and
Most,
you might not
most,
even need.
most quotes will only last a week now.
Yep.
6
Just
days.
with the trade show and some of the vendors, it's almost daily with the products that they're dealing with. They'll, you know, give somebody a bid and
So how do you
a day
read,
or two later.
how do you read number 1? If that was between 5 and 10, you know, just use Glenn's example, and each lawnmower was $7,500. You'd call out, get 2 bids, and bring it back to the board? Or would you?
So that one was, I have to demonstrate, right? Not
Yeah,
have approval by you, but just demonstrate.
But demonstrate that you got 2
Just
quotes.
2 quotes,
It's still not taking us out of the equation, it's
Right.
just, that just show us what you have and say, here's where I'm going.
Yep.
No matter what these numbers are, I don't feel anything should be purchased unless it came before the board.
And
Because right, the way some of this is written, you're giving the workers, or the head of the departments, free rein to go buy whatever they want.
it's Joe, though.
yeah, well, and if they have a budget that we've already agreed on, got voted in by the voters, and they're just spending the money that's there, still, there's sometimes I think, we're second guessing
You work for
people.
GE too long.
No, we're
Yes, you
second
did.
guessing people that you shouldn't have to ask them, it's okay if I bought a toolbox.
But Aaron, you don't buy anything, right? You get those 2 prices, you're going to Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's your final. You don't purchase anything without Joe's approval.
Anything above
Purchasing agent?
$200 I need to sign PO from the town manager, so I can't,
Over 200.
I can't really buy anything over $200 without Joe saying okay first.
And me personally, some things, you know, I can't turn the valve off and say, oops, there's no water because we don't have this. But I will call Joe or email him and say, hey, I just bought this, you know, like a backup pump for a chemical. And, you know, he'll, yeah, you gotta have it type of thing, even though it's over $200, but I've already had to order it.
That's more of an urgent matter. That's
Yeah, I mean,
not a
if
plan.
our
Urgent matters are
chlorine
different
pump goes
stories.
down, I can't just turn the valve off and say, well, until we get the pump 3 weeks from now. You know,
No, I would agree with that. So you're between, I think, 10 is what you said, Jay,
Yeah.
on that first one? Is everybody fine with that?
5,000 and 10,
Between
instead
5
of,
and 10?
I'm good with 10,
yeah,
5,000 and 10,000.
10,000.
yeah. I'm good with that.
Second bullet point, any purchase.
It's like Jay's saying 10,
Change the 15
I think
to
that
10.
should bump down, so you're,
Right. that
Yeah.
goes
you're
right
grabbing
down.
that.
That goes
so,
down
and
to
then
10.
you're up to 25. Can you drop that a little bit, or is it
I think we should drop that to 20.
15,
20,
20?
15?
Do-
I'd 15, 20,
Yeah, 15 to 20.
just so it's,
Yeah.
What would be RFP, 15 or 20? I'm looking because I'm trying to think what the price are of,
So fair to net, it would be anything above 25,000, fair say.
see, I
To
see.
draft an RFP and released it and
That's
advertised
three,
it for the
right?
thing,
What
that's,
it
I mean,
costs.
yeah, it costs.
That's number
You
three.
gotta
That's
go
number
on the
three,
payroll, you
yeah.
gotta go on the pre.
Yeah, I get that.
Part of that, I would,
Expense.
I would.
But I see what you mean, number two would have to go as well.
Oh, okay.
Two would have to be 10 to 25, and then three would be 25. Or three is 20, that's a long, it's a lot more than a 7,500 currently.
Well, it's just like the chemical tanks that we have discussed.
Yeah.
Now, we gotta do this whole bid process and everything else. We pushed purchasing these tanks back 6-7 months. God only knows what they're gonna cost to that.
But on those chemical tanks, I thought we had agreed to purchase them through the money.
I thought we had two.
That's
but
what I thought.
it's
That's-
not in, minutes as far as amount.
It was approved to bring numbers.
To bring
And
numbers,
we have
but
to-
not
yeah,
to
we have
spend.
to- Anything over 7,500 right now, we have to release an RFP for it.
So the question is 20,000 instead of 25, or keep it at 25? That's really the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be in both,
It'd
two
be in
and
both. You
three.
gotta change one, you gotta change it both.
So both of them would be 20?
I'm okay for taking small steps, but is anything that's moved us forward?
So we're at 20?
20
Okay.
for three.
If we find, I'd like to think that if we find, and once we put this in place, that it's still causing us heartburn, we come back and talk about it. And
My personal thought on the reserve funds and purchase orders procurement. I think the town should look at P cards, because I think it's much better to have those than an actual credit card. But that we don't have that process in place, I would leave it out.
I mean, I don't have a problem setting up the policy, I just,
Yeah,
I
but if we're
don't
not,
wanna talk about P cards.
if we're not doing it now though, would we put it in there or leave it? I mean, we can change it at any time.
That's true.
I mean, the P card process might take you
Are you-
quite a few months to bid it out and get all that stuff
I'm
together.
okay with deleting it. It was really just so we'd have the discussion.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is, in some cases, it'll save you money.
Yeah.
And if these guys are out on a job and need something, they can get something. For instance, the chief of police brought up that perfect example. He needed something, he could get it for $100. He had to get it then. It ended up costing him $2 or $2.50 because they had to go through an order. That's the thing that, that's where the P card would be really all for, to save money. I mean, they definitely gotta be controlled. You don't wanna abuse them, but it's a money-saving tool. Or it can be.
Last page is just corrections, right?
Yeah,
Right, it's just the service.
housekeeping.
Should we decide to pull P card out of there for now?
Yeah, I delete, I showed it, delete, because I don't want to be, when the auditor comes in and says, okay, I looked for your P cards, I couldn't find them. I looked at your policy and then, okay, I'll wait until.
Folks good with that, other than,
No,
if we make those changes? Joe can bring it back to the next meeting for approval? Okay. Anything
What
else?
do you mean?
Quick question, number 7, does that have to reflect any of the amount changes? If the contract awarded or proposed or bid accepted for 10,000 or more, not be authorized unless the seller vendor contractor has the suitable assurances?
Good question. I think 10's probably low to require a performance bond and stuff.
Agreed.
Match the RFP requirement?
What
Or
do we
go
want?
higher?
We could bump that to 20.
We want that up at 20?
Boy, that is low. I mean, $20,000 for a performance
It's
bond?
still low.
It's
If
still low.
If you buy a
Wouldn't
truck, are we gonna ask somebody to buy a bond to bond it
No.
out?
And that's why I'm saying even 50, is it 100,000?
Yeah, I mean, our construction, our
Can't
town
buy-
construction.
can't buy a
performance
vehicle.
bond, yeah.
Under 50.
He bonded when he did the sewer plant, the
Under-
work here.
100K versus 10?
100K still touches on some of our bigger equipment, so.
Okay, still gets us in trouble?
Still gets us in trouble.
Is it 250 to bond now? I'm sure when this was originally put together, it was,
Yeah, but bonds also cost money, they don't do that for free. They pull the bond, it costs us. 250.
250? 250, let's put 250.
I'm just shooting in the dark, just.
I say 200 gets close. I mean, when we were talking this last truck in January, we were pushing 200 already, and market's not approved.
No.
No.
Where are we at, 250 or?
250 is when I think
Okay.
we'll see.
Let's just change it as depending on.
That's a quarter of a mil.
So, again, sorry, top services too, so even paving, anything less than, or anything over whatever amount we set, we require by the pull a security bond down, so it'll be added, so 250. It's probably a decent number for that one.
So I think we could though go under, on the back page, number 9. I think that allows us to waive it if we, for paving, we see no need to put a performance bond that we could,
It gives us the ability to say no. Right.
don't you think, by reading that?
It's kind of an out for a lot of things.
Could not have to follow any of the policies. Okay.
Good.
Joe, you gonna bring those back?
Yes, I'll make the edits and bring it back.
Thank you. New business, grant match request.
Yes. So our prices went up on the mulch between the time we ordered the playground and when it was actually installed. We did manage to save $500 just by having the thank you to DPW to put that mulch in, but we were still a little bit over. The school did offer to pay half of the overage, which is $797.44. I'm asking today for the board to approve another $797.44 to be used from grant match to complete the playground project.
So move.
And then, is there a second? Bob
Second.
motion? Motion by Bob, second to Glenn to approve the request.
Second,
That's the one Joe you highlighted with 2,353.20.
We have money available, right,
Yes.
yeah.
And there was also the warrant approved money to be
Oh,
deposited.
gotcha,
as to
that's
highway.
not there yet.
Right there.
So the motion was by Bob to authorize the use of grant match funding for the playground mulch. And that was seconded by Glenn. Other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, I think. Any,
that was for 700 and some 90.
797.44.
you guys were affirmative, yes? I didn't hear you. Jay and Rich?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
I just, so that's what we got left for money for grant money?
Until July 1.
There's the 96 that was approved in March.
The carry forward money.
Yeah, that money is not spent, Jay, it's just allocated, like the Adam Street Bridge has some money taken out that I can't double dip, otherwise we'll be in the negative if everything gets funded.
Okay.
Plus there's some proposed money from ARPA too, right? Grant fund match.
Yeah, if the board decides.
Yeah.
All right, we had an amendment to add the next one. It's, I believe, adding the bookkeeper to the bank authorization.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jay, seconded by Glenn to authorize our new bookkeeper on the town bank account. Questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carries.
And when is Liz starting?
This starts June 6th at 8 a.m. So Monday, a week from yesterday.
We have an accountant and June 6th.
Thank goodness. Her priority is gonna be payroll. I'm trying to scrape as much off of Eileen's desk as I can and get the new bookkeeper up to speed.
All right. Next item, water budget discussion. Water and sewer, or just water tonight?
Oh, just water tonight.
Is there questions for Mike? Everybody got it? Did you find it in here?
Yes, I've got it here somewhere. I went through all this earlier today.
I'm
Thought I had
good
everything.
after on water when I see where most of it is the new contract salaries for the increase. My only question, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but knowing that we're going to have our hands full trying to keep the increase in water and sewer down this year, on page 3 of 3 on water, where you get into the reserve allocations, and it's the water capital improvement of $40,000. Is there any room to drop it? You know, we went and bought we're buying the new tanks,
Well, not yet, we haven't.
no.
And also too,
Not yet.
What's pending?
that electrical
Water
old
storage.
can of worms hasn't even begun yet. I'm not saying that it can't be cut a little, but you don't want to gouge that fund and not be able to, once you get started, finish it down the road.
In my,
Which number are you talking about?
the one on 9790-80,
81?
no,
Oh, the one below it.
the water capital improvement,
Yeah.
the 40,000, to see, I'm just looking at two possible levers to try to keep the water increase that we're gonna see by the overall budget going up. One is the packet that we had that showed if we pay off the water system West Street bond, so we don't have that payment, that $94,399.80. That helps absorb some of the increase, because that payment can go towards helping us get there. And the only other place I saw where you might be able to get a little, and those are the two places, and the rest of your numbers didn't change much.
No, there's not much.
We tried to,
I mean, so the one, I didn't,
we are doing more work in-house, between Jeff and myself, and Ryan also. We're doing a lot more work and trying to keep costs down, just because we're there, stuff that we can do. So some of the things went up, small tools and that type of thing. We're using drill bits more, that type of thing. But we are keeping the purchase services down as much as possible.
yeah.
So, to go back to that, if we're cutting away from that, we're just cutting away from keeping up. trying to keep up.
Keeping, that we'll be trying to do a bond or something later. So, yeah, really, that means we're back to, I just want to make sure that we're all, as a board, saying that buying down debt piece of ARPA funding, that 90, one of the things we'll be talking about when we put them both together later is that debt for that water system bond of $94,399.80. That's,
No, it doesn't.
that's the only place I see it. I already got my
Debt
questions
service water,
answered,
I
the
see
salaries all
92.
figured out.
Then just throw back to, real quick, the $40,000. I still have not got my numbers back from the account for the roof up there. The roof's been leaking on that plant for a little while now. Talking about putting solar panels up there. I'm gonna throw numbers out there, but that number sounds about where we're probably gonna end up for a roof alone for the plant. That's not the only project we talked about for a while now for the plant. The tanks, the lines themselves, so. The tunnel.
So if you were to pay off, it looks like water, really, there isn't a lot to pay off. Sewer, on the sewer end, yes, you could save $34,000 in payments between the first two on that list,
That's where
the
the,
highlighted list.
that's where the big thing.
And is that is 10/1/22, is that the last payment date?
Yeah, that debt is retired whether if you put it in the
So
budget,
that's-
what you're doing is you're just paying off that one payment early. Yeah, we're using ARPA funds to do it.
So that one's really a,
You're talking about the 83,000 one? The payment, the principal payment?
this one here, Jay. Do you have the one with the highlight?
Oh, that one there, I've got the,
But it says 92 here, what's the difference? What's the
Just
difference?
how you pay for it, through water or through.
The debt service here
Not right.
says 92.
There's other debt in that line besides that.
I was gonna say, I saw 107, so there's more.
Yeah, you're not paying off all your debt.
So number one on the list goes away anyways this year. Whether we keep 26,000 in the budget to pay it, or we use ARPA funds to pay 26.
Right.
All right.
So that one's just paid off this year anyway, you say?
Yeah.
So if we paid off the water and the two sewers, on the other page, the total ARPA funds we need to use is 247, 282.60.
On the page.
And just, that's what I'm,
Yes, to pay off those two
Plus
debts,
the water.
that's 247.
I'm just trying to keep 700 and some
Yeah.
odd thousand and what we've already earmarked and saying, okay, where are we?
And I guess that's the first question for me is there interest from the board in paying off debt or just using it to fund new projects?
I think we paid off some of the debt, we're certainly gonna save some money, I would think.
Yeah, the board could conceivably wipe out most of its debt with this money. All the loader, excavator, plow trucks, fuel tank loans, 3 water and sewer loans, and you'd still have about 100,000 left over.
Which really would get to scrapping, there would be some fights then.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
That's not to say too, we do have projects that are in the pipes, like downtown and this project in Town Hall that, I mean, we're still fighting back price increases. So we budgeted for downtown park, the lights in the park and the sidewalk and the parking lot. But it's not to say that those prices haven't gone up between 2 years ago and now. Inflation whacked us.
Right now, we're working on the water and sewer, because we're trying to look at places that knock these rates down.
Yep.
We don't have to use all this money right away to begin with, correct?
Yeah.
The ARPA money, you know.
The ARPA money. So what if you did the two here, on the water and sewer. With ARPA money.
The 139 and the 94.
Right, and use that so we can drop these rates a little bit. And then, like the other 40,000 we talked about, where we want to cut it to 20, we could leave that where it is. Because
39, not 139.
Because we're gonna save
I didn't hear the comment.
that kind of money, right?
130.
I don't understand.
The only thing though is we'd only be saving from the budget like $7,500. Because you're only gonna take out the payment amount.
Oh, your payment. Well, one payment's 26,000.
Yeah, that one would come out anyways, because that's the last payment. November of this year is the last payment. So that one's gonna be paid off whether we keep it in or take it out.
If you leave it in, though, it's paid from the users instead of ARPA. If you pay it off with ARPA, then
You can reduce the, yeah.
I think, when you look, I know what you're, I'm trying to.
We're bouncing
get
back
in my
and forth.
mind-
Get this straight. I'm getting, this is
Yeah.
crazy. We're talking, that's a sewer line, right?
Those two.
We're talking water.
We're
Let's
talking
talk
water right now, and so if you're talking sewer, we'd
Confusing me.
be in here, but when you, just for the conversation, if we take the water that we're talking now and say, yeah, pay that off. But just generically speaking, if you're talking what we're trying to offset to keep water and sewer rates fairly level, you could knock all of this off and you're not even
It's not gonna
close
touch
to
the
the,
rates.
to the raise that's gonna happen. Understand that. That's why I had the conversation about the bond. I really, in order to get about 50,000, where when we talk next time about sewer, it won't be as easy a conversation because you gotta convince me not to cut that one back. But the water one, I get it, but with all what we're spending down there, I'll roll the dice on the sewer because the amount that our increase is gonna be what, like 75,000? With the salaries and
88,000.
88,000. If you're gonna figure that the increase that we're gonna have to try to figure out in our rates at 88,000, and by saving these payments here, it looks like the payments are more like 30,000, but the larger payment, the 26,000, goes away in October. It's really about $8,000 is what I saved on an 88,000. I still got.
You're telling me our water and sewer budgets are going up $88,000?
Yes. Total.
No, just sewer, right?
Total, water and sewer.
Water and sewer, because the salaries that we understand.
Our
So,
increase was 88,000 for friggin' salaries?
No, that's total everything.
total everything, but
Most of it is salary.
but a huge chunk of it is salary. So when you come back in,
How are you going to explain 88,000 increase to the taxpayers?
we need to go in to that bond thing on one of them, and if I cut them both in half, I'd get about 40,000. I'm looking to get 50,000 of the 88. So the increase is about 30K, and 30K that you'd put in. That's what I'm trying to get, and that's the best case scenario.
I'll throw back, and we'll be in the same predicament we're at with the public works vehicle fund, where we cut it down and try and cut the rates for tax purposes. We didn't refund it the next year because all the other increases still outshine us saving any money to do any work. So if we cut that money this year, I would dare say it will be in this conversation next year where we will not be able to make that money back into those funds because the prices of all of our services, the prices of all of our equipment we need will be high enough that the rate will not be
Well,
something that the board.
I'll tell you what, I live in this town and I'm worried about the cost of water and sewer. You don't live in this town, you keep saying we should leave this in here. I disagree with you. We gotta find places to cut this budget.
Oh, I don't
And
get me.
88,000 is just ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
Are the salaries because of reallocation of work?
No, salaries
Based
are
on-
because of the union contract.
For roughly, right now, and I don't wanna get into numbers.
Ridiculous.
We had to do that, Jay. We had to get those salaries up.
I don't mind that, but I'm
There's
just
no way
saying,
around it.
somewhere around these budgets, there's $88,000. You're gonna you realize what that's gonna do to the water and sewer budgets? Or what you're gonna do to the bills?
I understand that.
Do you think we're bad enough now with a $40,000 deficit, or a debt from another place? It's gonna start everywhere, because nobody's gonna be able to pay their bills.
I understand. That's the concern. I share your concern, Jim. That's why.
My question is, I'm very confused about, we keep bouncing around here. The question I wanna know is, are we talking payments, or are we talking the entire, payment, or the entire bond issue, or whatever we're trying to pay out? I got no idea what you're talking about. And if you're talking payments, that's ridiculous, because then we just have to redo it next year as a raise. That makes no sense.
It's gonna really inflate the budget.
It will really inflate the budget. So if we're talking about paying off a debt, a whole debt, then that's fine. I'm more inclined to that than I am.
Just a payment.
And that's where I see these as separate conversations. 'Cause
Right.
to save $1,800 in this budget it doesn't matter.
Right.
But to retire 94,000 in debt, that's
Exactly.
that's a good thing to be happening.
I'm in favor
So
of
to
it.
pay off debt is not gonna necessarily save you money in the budget if we were to use extra funds to pay off the debt. I still think you're gonna have some hard decisions and
That you have to make.
But I don't know where they are.
uh,
I don't see them.
There's,
And I don't think it's prudent to not do, to cut funds for, for our reserve accounts.
the only other place when I look under water, and you can go to the first, on the budget page, the water admin salary, that percentage that you have there is showing, that has, I think, Joe, when I asked you, is that's Eileen's salary, that's some of the accountant's salary, that's some of Joe's salary, that's a bunch of stuff put together there. And I'm
Yeah.
going, boy, that's a lot of salary for bills, for admin, for bills that come out. And I'm saying, is that, how did we figure this percentage, and are we taking a disproportionate share of water and sewer payers, paying here and because that's the only number, when I came back, that was the only other number I think.
and that's why I asked Joe if that is the 3-year running average of what you actually put in for time between Aaron and Eileen and you, and I mean, is that percentage that you're plugging in there?
That percentage is the rate, or the percentage that we've been using since I've got here. I haven't done an audit to see where time sits, but Eileen has 30% of her time sits with water and 30% sits with sewer.
And the rest is general?
The rest is general, yeah, but most of her time is spent doing billing with water and sewer and shutoffs, and is it 60% of her time? I'd have to do an audit. I can't say yes or no, but it is a good chunk of her.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's
sure.
I mean, and that's where I'd like to see her,
yeah.
she's struggling right now with all the stuff she's doing.
Say yes. It's part of water.
And we really can't adjust that allocation anyways because we've already approved general fund budgeting.
Yeah, we'd have to milk it from the general fund and go over on one line and leave this.
You couldn't-
Yeah. So as a way forward, would the board like me to pull together, I can pull together numbers that flatline the budget. It will cut the sewer capital and water capital reserves. And I can take the bond, I can pay off the debt that we just talked about, pay off all that debt and see what that looks like in terms of your budget. We can get to 0% increase, but it's gonna hurt you.
I don't think we wanna see right now doing nothing the increase will bring our taxpayers right to their knees on water and sewer. If we just take this and you get the slip that we vote on that says, here's what you're gonna be paying now per thousand in water and sewer, I don't even.
I'll tell you
that
right
would be
now,
helpful-
if
That would
this,
be helpful to see at the next meeting.
if this was a public vote, both these budgets would go down. If it was a public vote.
Almost 9%,
This-
845 and almost 9.
But I'm,
This first line is the money owed, the balance of the bond for the payment. Second line is the payments each year that you do, correct?
Yeah.
And then the balance line over here, is that the total we owe? Because that's more than the balance of the first line. What's the difference there?
Yep, so the first line, that was a holdover from when this spreadsheet was made. I updated payments and balance as of 5/18/22.
Okay, so.
That third column those are solid numbers straight from the bank or the loaning, lending agency.
Okay.
The third column is your payout.
what would be helpful for me is that our next meeting, the one where we break down of here's what it is if you did nothing. And here's if you cut. What I'd like to see.
I'll bring some options. I didn't ask what percentage we were comfortable with this time, sorry. That's always a nice guide for where we can start, so. All right. I'll bring 3 options and the board can take a look. We'll pop it up on the screen and that way we can hammer it out.
Is it fun? No,
You guys-
this sheet we're
Gotta do
looking at
something?
here,
Which one is it? Yep.
this bond started in 2014. Am I gathering this right?
Yes,
We still owe this much money on it.
that's what I'm gathering, yeah.
Now, is that does not include the work that's being done down there now, correct? Or does it?
It does not.
So if we pay this off, we're still gonna owe lots of money down there.
The water treatment bond is the second from the bottom. That's the third,
3.7.
3.7, yeah.
Right. It's a separate, right?
All right, Joe, you'll bring back 3.
That's where the local option would have come in handy. The local option would have come in handy.
That's like the third, you're the third person to say that.
Well, I mean, it's a funding, it doesn't matter, I mean,
It's done,
we're taxing, it's a tax no matter what. We gotta pay what we
So you'll
owe.
bring those forward, Joe, next meeting?
Yes, I'll bring some options, the good, the
With
bad, the ugly
rate, with
options.
rate increases,
Realistic.
all 9 yards.
Any other questions or anything that you want Joe to bring back?
There is one thing that, so I can find it here again. I know we're talking water. He's gonna do it on both, right? But
Yes, I'm gonna make adjustments.
But on, just a quick note, like, I think Glenn was talking about this earlier, is the sewer reserve allocation, that's $40,000. It's a brand new plant. I'm sure we could cut back on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
The sewer reserve allocation would be to include all of the collection system. And just to throw out there some info, the camera, the lines that are being paved in the next few years through the projects, Capitol Hill, Dutton, Main Street, Prospect Street, North Main Street, Prospect Street is almost $20,000 to inspect those lines before they pave.
well, how much money is there in the reserve? It's gotta be more than 40,000.
There's all kinds of money there. All I'm saying is the reserve that it looks like we were really comfortable going 40,000, then 25, 25, 25, 25, then we jump back up to 40. All I'm saying is time to tap the brakes again. Let's go back to 25. here.
Yeah, but how much is in there, how much is in these reserve funds?
Sewer capital has 372,000, water capital has 281,000.
There's money to do, which I think,
I'm sure we could squeak some of this stuff here.
I mean,
It's on that page, Jay, I think that's the.
Let's see.
I think this is that right?
Policy,
Yeah, right here, water capital, 281.
yeah,
sewer,
okay, I got it right here now.
72. So you can use that too as your. And Joe, you update as we
Yes.
move through you.
Okay. I really.
But I mean, in general, I think the conversation is gonna be around capital reserve. I don't see any other area of the budget where there's
is any,
anything to cut.
Even at zero or level funded, just with the inflation rate, technically you're cutting the budget, which we all know is just the nature of the beast right now.
oh yeah, that's why I think it's gonna be
Yeah, that's a very good point.
4.8 to
That's a very good point.
8%.
And you could cut this one, but when we're at this point next year, I mean, what does that do to the?
We can't-
Put money
we
back in
can't-
reserve accounts, but
Yeah.
that's what we'll go for.
So I
That's,
All right,
that's
cool.
my,
Joe will bring
I
back
hear you.
some options.
That's gonna be one hell of a garage.
There you go.
Huh.
150.
Target?
Yeah, $15 million.
Oh, for the garage.
Come on.
Probably a little high.
15,000?
No, it's
No, 15 million.
Is that a typo?
No, that's the,
Oh, that was
That's
what we
a-
were shooting for.
the goal. Or the
15
cap.
million for a
All
garage?
right, that's a cap.
Yeah, I think maybe we could cap that a little
I
lower.
would say so.
All right.
So we have 2 more meetings before we have to set the rates?
Yeah, I figure we talk today, at the next meeting, really nail it down. I'll make the adjustments that the boards decide next meeting, bring the rate sheet.
Yep.
To the final. That work? And has everybody met Ryan? He's our water department intern.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
How's it working for Mike and Aaron?
Pretty good so far.
Pretty good.
Good answer.
You wait till tomorrow now.
No, good, we're glad
How
you're
long-
here.
How long you been with us?
Just about a year.
About a year?
You're gonna be able to go for your licensure?
Good.
He is signed up for the state, I got him registered as an OIT, which is operator in training.
Yeah.
So everything he does as far as training goes, the state tracks that,
Good.
which he has done.
So it gives him his hours of training. Good, good.
Which will help him down the road
Right.
getting his license.
Very good. Good program.
All right, well, thank you guys.
Thanks for doing it.
You gonna come to work tomorrow after coming to this meeting?
You asking me? No, I got vacation time left.
No, I'm not asking you. I don't dare.
Eric's good, he'll be back.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
He's gonna go get a couple more shovels and put some more material down the side. No,
It's a long process.
no, I would agree. We can,
I mean, with everything else we've got to do, that's the only thing I'm saying is
no, I would
it'd
agree.
be,
If you can outsource it and get it done,
yeah, even if you could hire a local truck to help you, you know, and just hire the machine and the operator, you know, I just feel it'd be, I mean, like I said, it'll take you 2 months to do the whole thing down there, you know, and if you get a bad rainstorm,
It's a lot of wood in my hand.
yeah, you lose it.
yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so many different things there. Anyways,
All right, thanks, Eric.
I run my mouth enough tonight.
Parking lot.
Can we take meter changes off? It sounded like they got it.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that because if we're down to what, 19, he said?
And most,
29 total.
a dozen of those are abandoned buildings and, you know.
Yeah, so I think that could come out of there.
That last letter that went out sounded like it sparked a lot of conversations that phone calls started coming in, so. There's a few I know that our timing doesn't work with their time, and the guys have been more than flexible and arranged their schedules to make sure we can accommodate it as best we can. So,
Okay.
I forgot while, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go
I
ahead.
forgot while Mike was here, I had a young lady call me on Friday, last Friday. She said, if you wanna change your meter, you're gonna have to come this weekend. You can come at 9 o'clock on Saturday or 9 o'clock on Sunday, Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
I called Mike and the first thing he said was, yeah, I'll do it. Didn't hesitate, didn't blink. On Memorial Day weekend, he went out and did
Well, he's
that.
trying to get them done. I mean, you gotta give the guy a lot of credit.
I appreciated that more than anything, Jay. You don't even know. He just went and did it.
Perfect.
Which is why
Yep, I agree, it goes hand in hand.
our budget is up. It should be. It has
To a
be.
point. To
No,
a point.
I mean,
Anything else that needs to come off or added to the parking lot?
What's happening with our town plan?
Purchasing policy,
Yeah, that could come off, right? We're pretty much done with our purchasing
Yeah.
policy.
that can come
Nice.
out.
I think,
Uh,
right?
Town plan, it has not started yet.
So that's gonna stay on there.
Yeah.
And the meters are gonna come off, purchasing policy. Adam Street Bridge, that's there because we're just waiting, right?
yep, I got two. I think the Sanders Camp has a request, and then we have a grant out, which we should know. I don't know when I'll know. Hopefully soon.
If everything came in, like the grant came and Sanders came through, how long would it be actual bridge across the river? Would it start immediately or would it have to be a 2-year wait list?
Yeah,
Three
and-
to 4 years.
Yeah, knowing the feds, it would be it'd be anywhere between 3 and 5
Well,
years.
I would have to cross it with my wheelchair.
Yeah,
Well, you
as long as I don't roll you into the
you
river.
don't need a bridge now.
Your driver will take you across.
Yeah, right, okay.
Aaron will bring you for a ride
Yeah.
on the ridge.
Come on, Jay, we're going for a ride.
The zoning regulation updates,
Wiping the drool off my face.
Can Bob come too?
Bob's
Bob,
working on those, right?
Were we going,
What's- say that
originally,
again.
we thought the zoning regulation updates would be finished in June, still on schedule?
I think so. The problem we've had is illness and scheduling with Rutland Regional. But that, I'll know more about that tomorrow. I may have a rough draft copy in my hand tomorrow, but I wouldn't bet on that. But June is the end, and then start right up with the town plan.
Okay. Roundtable. Rich, do you have anything for roundtable?
I just there's been a couple of complaints about Cedar Grove Cemetery, and I totally understand why it looks like it does. We're short-handed, and the guys have done a tremendous job, and something has to wax a little bit. But, I just have a complaint on that, but, and I also wanna express my, gratitude for the police department on this weekend. They done an excellent job. They really done. Everything was like clockwork. They were right on it. Everything was perfect as far as I was concerned.
All right, thank you. Jay?
Everything was answered.
You're all set?
What? Yeah, we're killing it today.
Bob?
I just wanted to point out something. That, my son sent me something. They're looking for cooks. They're paying starting between $20 and $25 an hour. These are line cooks. This is not chefs. $20 to $25 an hour, 4-day weeks. Paid time off, sick day. This is for cooks. Healthcare. They even give you one meal. $400 retention bonus after 3 months. $400 retention bonus after 6 months. They got one applicant. So
Aaron's going to cook right now.
I'm thinking about it. But, so what we pay these guys, what we pay to retain these guys is worth every penny of it. And I'll go in front of anybody who wants to argue with me.
about that, because we have to be, if we wanna keep.
Get ready.
Yeah, you know, and having said that, well, I'll make that argument later too, but we're in a very tight labor market, and we need those people, and it's worth what we're paying them. Probably should be more, to be honest.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Bob, do you have the expenditure revenue and the warrant?
I do as soon as I get handed to me by the secretary. Okay, make a motion to pay the warrant of $646,682.52.
I'll second that with the remark that there was 574,000 was for a school payment.
You got it, Claire, or you got?
Yes, I got it somewhere.
Okay. Motion was, I forgot that one by,
Should be a post-it note on top of this one right
motion
here.
by Bob, seconded by Jay, to authorize the general fund, $646,682.52.
682.
Who did the motions?
Bob and Jay seconded.
Right.
Thank you.
And the largest portion was a school payment of
574, I think it was in there.
$574,000. Question?
Just so that, I just want to do that so people realize
Yep.
that we're not spending that kind of money for running the town.
Which is another thing, $88,000 would be a drop in the ocean in that budget.
Questions on anything else in the warrant? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
I'll
abstention?
abstain.
Okay. Motion carried.
Motion to pay the payroll warrant of $34,056.71.
Second.
Okay, motion by Bob, second by Jay to pay to authorize the payroll warrant, $34,056.71. Questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain on that one, so.
Okay,
Checkbook status,
yeah, go ahead.
I sure hope that this is after they made the payments. $586,748.34.
All right. And executive session, we have two. Is there a motion for those items?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for personal and labor relations, 1 VSA 313A1, and for a real estate transaction, 1 VSA 313A2.
Second.
Motion by Glenn, seconded by Jay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.